Have you ever had a character out of a book affect you so much that you had to reach out to the author of the book? That's what happened to me with this book, and I can't wait to share the book with you. But as you know, every book deserves a cocktail. This cocktail, however, was mentioned numerous times in the book. And so I didn't have to come up with a cocktail, but I did have to come up with the ingredients. And I couldn't find the exact ingredients, so I made what I thought would be close to the ingredients with this. It only has two ingredients, and it's a very strong drink. I have not tried it yet, so it's going to be the first time for me too. But it's vodka, and then it's it called for a creamed mint. Menthol. So I went with a menthol mint. I love this, Dr. McGillicuddy's, especially during the winter. So I knew it would work. And then I just added some green coloring. And so it really looks very cool. I hope you guys can see the green color. So we're going to take a little sip. Oh, that's pretty darn refreshing. Of course, the menthol mint makes it really refreshing. The vodka, I'll just smooths it out a little bit. But this was, to me, this was the perfect cocktail for this book. The book is called The Book Club of Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick. And like I said, I had to reach out to her because one of the characters in the book just really affected me. So the book is basically about four women in a suburban area. It's set in the 1960s, and they become friends through a book club. Margaret is the main character. She is the one that's kind of telling the story. And there's three other friends. There was one that was already her friend. And then as these other women move into the neighborhood, they start this book club. Now, for their book club, they read very feminist books. And so it opens up their eyes to what's going on around them when maybe they didn't really realize what was going on. And Margaret takes a little part time job as a writer. She went through college to write journalist to be a journalist, but she never made it because she did get married and then started having children, and so she kind of gave that up. So they live in this beautiful home, and there's borrowed furniture everywhere, and so she decides she's going to take this job. She sees it online or on in a magazine, and so she submits a story, and they hire her for humor. But humor is really not her strong suit. And every time she starts to write something of her real thoughts, the publisher or editor nicks it, completely nicks it. And so she just continues to write things that really doesn't affect her. But one of the really big points of the book for me, or the scenes of the book, is when she gets her first paycheck and she goes to the bank and she wants to open up a savings account in her name. And, you know, as she was coming in, they were really excited for her because she had money. But the moment that she says, "Oh, I want to open it up in my name," they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you have to," or, "Are you married?" And she said, "Yes." And they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We need your husband's signature on this card." And she's like, "But it doesn't have anything to do with my husband. I'm making the money. It's my money." And they refused it. So, one, my mother was, this would have been her age that she was living. And the ladies, so that brought something to me because she had to live through the 60s when women didn't have a lot of rights. They couldn't open a credit card, they couldn't open a bank account by themselves. And so that was one of the ways that this book really affected me, because I saw my mother through the lenses of this book. And it makes me think about how much I have come through because of these women standing up and doing the things that they had to do so that we as women could have the rights to do it. So that was something. But Margaret was the one that really stood out to me because she knew she had a path in life. She knew she had something, and she kept going after it. But she had it in her mind too, is I'm not good enough. What if I'm not good enough? And her husband takes a couple of little digs toward her. But then once she finds her real voice, that's when things start happening in her career. When she starts being true to herself and putting it out there and wanting it to share this with other women, she gets it. And then that's when her career starts taking off. And I think for so many of us, once we find our true voice, when our true voice catches up with what's going on in our head, then things start happening for us. And so that's how Margaret really resonated with me, because doing this YouTube channel, um, once I started aligning myself with what my true self was, come to the bar, sit with me, drink a cocktail with me, let's share this book. um, that's where I felt the most comfortable. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I was just like, come on, sit down at this bar with me and let's discuss books and be real. And I just loved it. I just loved this book so much. Again, as I said, I reached out to the author, and guess what? She reached back out to me. So I am so in love with this book. I love this author. She did such a great job. She really dug in and looked at these women's lives. They weren't all perfect. It was messy, lots of messy things. But what she did was she really showed how these women were able to get through these messes, or with the children, handling the children, how they bonded together to be able to handle this situation, or a situation. So I just really, really enjoyed the book. If you loved lessons in chemistry, this is right up the same alley. I would I would give this one a really solid 4. I probably would give it a 4.5 just because Marie wrote me back. And that made it even more special to me. So, if you're looking for it's a quick read, good, quick, uplifting read, this is the one. And again, 4.5 Bs. This is very strong. So I'm not going to be drinking this whole cocktail, but I wanted to make it because it was in the book. So here you go, Marie. Thank you for this strong cocktail, um, reminiscent of the strong women in the book. So cheers to Marie. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Whew, that's strong. So thank you for joining me. I am so delighted that you just used a little bit of your time to share it with me. I'm Dana B, and this is Boozy Bees Books, Cocktails, and Some Basketball.
Cheers!